Hundreds of anti-coup protesters in Myanmar poured back onto the streets this morning to protest against the military power grab in Myanmar, exactly a week after hundreds of chanting protesters marched in Yangon, holding the signature red flags of Suu Kyi's National League of Democracy party. Remember, the military leadership in the country detained Suu Kyi about a week ago and other senior leaders of her party. Demonstrators held up banners, including some saying, "We do not want military dictatorship." Myanmar is witnessing a fresh wave of civil disobedience as opponents of Myanmar's coup have called for more protests and work stoppages today. Now, the doctors, joined by some teachers and other government workers, are expected to take part in this campaign. This after tens of thousands of people joined weekend demonstrations against the removal and detention of elected leader Suu Kyi a week ago. Protests that swept the country on Sunday were the biggest since a 2007 saffron revolution led by Buddhist monks. The complete information blackout triggered by a nationwide internet shutdown fueled more anger among the protesters. The internet services have now been restored. But it clearly failed to stifle the growing outrage at the military's ouster of Suu Kyi and her government. Joining us on this broadcast now is journalist Dave Grunbaum, and he's joining us live from Kuala Lumpur. Dave, thank you so much for giving us your time. Over the weekend, we saw tens of thousands of people take to the streets in Myanmar in what was the biggest protest the country has seen since the year 2007. What's the situation on the ground today? What's the latest information that you're picking up? The protests certainly don't seem to be dying down despite the initial internet blackout undertaken by the military.
Yeah, so the protest just getting underway there really this morning. I mean, keep in mind that it's about a little after 10 a.m. there right now, so things are just getting going. It's hard to get a gauge as to how many protesters are on the streets at this particular moment, but keep in mind yesterday, those protests picked up people as they went along. Throughout the day, they got bigger and bigger, and they hit a point where the United Nations estimated that it was a total of about 60,000 people on the streets. So expect that to pick up. It's going to be interesting to see if it gets as big today as it was yesterday, because today would ordinarily be sort of the beginning of the work week, what they have of a work week in Myanmar, because like so many places, the economy has been battered by COVID-19. But another interesting thing to really keep an eye on what happens today and throughout the week are, as you mentioned, those work stoppages. Doctors and teachers and some other people in other government ministries refused to work last week. Will those continue to grow? Will people continue to refuse to work? And if you see that spread among government employees, the military may find themselves at some point where they cannot keep the government functioning.
What do we know the latest about Suu Kyi? We know she's in house arrest, but any information coming out from her camp?
Nothing new about her. Her lawyer said a couple of days ago that she was at her home under house arrest. Interesting, on Saturday night on the phone networks in Myanmar, a false rumor spread through text messages across the country that Aung San Suu Kyi had been freed. It was completely false, and her lawyer came out after learning about this to say, no, she has not been released. Nothing has changed in her status. So the question comes up is, why would anybody want to put out that false information? Well, probably to try and see if people would think, okay, things are getting better, and then fewer demonstrators they were hoping would come out on Sunday. It obviously didn't work. That misinformation campaign did not work.
Now, there's a lot of pressure from around the world for Suu Kyi's release, the elected leader in the country. Do you think this pressure will work as far as the military leadership in Myanmar is concerned?
Highly unlikely. I mean, the bottom line is the last thing the military generals want is the most influential person in the country, Aung San Suu Kyi, out there encouraging the masses to continue resisting. The military has been fighting Aung San Suu Kyi for decades, and they cannot beat her. Inside the country, she is looked at as an icon, and the generals are looked at as pariahs around the world. They know that. They cannot beat her fair and square. So they've cooked up this whole scheme of election fraud, put these ridiculous charges on her, all to try to beat her that way, because they cannot beat her fairly and squarely at the polls.
Right. You mentioned that Suu Kyi had been detained. Yes, she was earlier detained for nearly 15 years under house arrest. In fact, successive military juntas ruled Myanmar from 1962 to 2011. But this generation, this latest generation, we are seeing thousands of people out on the streets are armed with mobile phones. Some mobile services have been restored in Myanmar, so they have more information. And that's why we are seeing thousands of people out on the roads. What is the current generation's outlook towards the military junta that ruled their country for decades put together?
Look, they have heard the histories from their parents and their grandparents. And there was a sign I saw in the demonstrations yesterday that I think sent a very clear message. It said, "You picked the wrong generation." And that's a clear message to the junta that these young and tech-savvy, smart people, they do not want to live under military rule like their parents and their grandparents had to. This young generation that's been leading these demonstrations are picking up people from a lot of different generations who are joining them because people are united. The overwhelming majority of the people in this country do not want to be under military rule again.
Right. The army has so far not used any heavy force against the protesters. Do you think that will last? And what is the role being played by regional powers here like China and India in these protests?
Yeah, so whether or not the military will resort to brutal force like they have in the past, such as when they violently cracked down on the student demonstrations in 1988, they get to a point where they see no other way to move forward. If they see themselves backed into a corner, if they can't keep the economy flowing because if there's work stoppages, it's entirely possible that they see no other alternative from their perspective. What could get the generals to change direction? Well, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, they basically have a policy of non-interference in the other country's internal affairs. So you're not going to see any strong statements coming out of any members of ASEAN. They put out statements and they've all been relatively weak. If China were to try and put some pressure on Myanmar, that would have some influence, but China has seen no interest in really doing that so far. There was a tamped down statement that came out from the UN Security Council, but that was because China and Russia brought that statement more of a tamped down statement. There was no, they didn't call it a coup in that statement. That's all because of China and Russia. So could China have some influence? Yes. But right now we don't see any real interest on them doing that. And the military generals, for Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, there is no backing down for him. He has made an all-out move for a power grab, and for him, there's no backing down.
Dave, thank you so much for joining us and getting us all the latest on the coup in Myanmar. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.